Well, Jurassic World is now 10 years old, and oh boy, in the 10 years since it has released, the Jurassic World franchise has expanded into probably one of the biggest dinosaur medias ever. From video games, to animated series, to even a fully fledged high production value short film. And the movies themselves have all reached $1 billion, making it one of the highest profitable franchises for Universal. And it all started 10 years ago when Jurassic World was first released. It's kind of hard to believe it's been 10 years since it has released, and I still distinctly remember the hype that it produced at the time. You have to understand that before Jurassic World, the most recent Jurassic Park movie that had come out at the time is Jurassic Park 3, which was released in 2001. So there's quite a bit of a gap between Jurassic Park movies. Indeed, after Jurassic Park 3, there were plans to make a fourth Jurassic Park movie, but it was sort of in development hell because creators couldn't figure out what the story should be. Some of the ideas thrown around were the characters going to an island. Once again, there was going to be military-trained dinosaurs. There was even going to be human-dinosaur hybrids. Okay, thank God that didn't happen. But during this time, it seemed like the Jurassic Park franchise was a bit dead. Without new movies, there really wasn't much going on. Sure, there were some brand new video games like Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, and in 2012, a mobile game called Jurassic Park Builder, but there wasn't anything big or major to revitalize the Jurassic Park franchise, and it wasn't until around 2012 to 2013 when they finally announced a fourth Jurassic Park movie called Jurassic World that was finally going to enter into production. Now, it was around this time that, a little personal story, I had a pretty good childhood because I had a lot of friends in elementary school and it was all great. Unfortunately, I would probably never get to see these guys ever again because eventually my parents decided to move back to another town and I wouldn't be able to see them again. So we moved away and I was sad. I'd had to make new friends because I was just entering middle school, and middle school was way different than elementary school. Kids were older, they had completely different thoughts, and I was just having a hard time fitting in. So it was a real rough time for me, and, well, one of the things to help me keep me going was the Jurassic World news, because it was around this time that I first actually started getting into movie news. Before that, it was just kind of like, I just find out about this brand new movie, that it just got this sequel and stuff like that. But now I was actually following the news that was on the internet, all of the leaks, the speculations. It was around this time that I discovered that there was going to be a dinosaur hybrid in Jurassic World, and at the time it was called the Diabolus Rex. But it was eventually changed into, as we all know, the Indominus Rex. So it was a pretty big deal at the time. It was the first time I was getting into movie news. I was following the hype. I was following the leaks. I found out that there was going to be Lego sets. I found out that there was going to be a lot of things going on in this movie. It was around this time I started getting into a bunch of dinosaur-related media on YouTube. I was watching Trey the Explainer. That was the first introduction because back then, he made a lot of videos talking about Jurassic World. Some of them ended up being private or unlisted, but I kind of wish I could rewatch those because he gave his full thoughts on the movie that's no longer on YouTube, and it's pretty sad. But hey, what you gonna do? The point is, it was around this time that I was finally feeling like me again because I was just so depressed since we moved away. But thanks to Jurassic World, I was feeling energy. I was feeling confident in myself because I was just so hyped and happy. It felt like I was me again, and I was starting to make a lot of new friends in middle school, and overall, I finally felt like I was happy again. And on the last day of middle school, I told all my friends that I was watching Jurassic World, and then I did. It was the final day of middle school, I had just got out, and we went straight to the theater. And it was a theater at my mall. It's no longer there. It's kind of sad because it made the mall 10 times interesting. But there was a theater there. We went, we saw Jurassic World, and oh boy, because I was like 12 years old, it blew all of my expectations out of the water. It was just so awesome. Now, the plot of the movie is Jurassic World takes place 15 years after Jurassic Park 3. They had finally figured out a way to contain the dinosaurs and create a fully functioning dinosaur theme park slash nature preserve, and it became one of the most successful theme parks ever. Unfortunately, though, Jurassic World is seeing a decline, and that's because people were kind of getting bored of dinosaurs. The magic of dinosaurs just kind of disappeared because we now know what they look like, we've seen their animal behaviors. Essentially, to quote Claire from the movie, everybody sees a dinosaur like they see an elephant in the zoo. So Mr. Masrani, the CEO of the Masrani Corporation and the head of the Jurassic World theme park, wanted to revitalize the park by creating a hybrid, a never-before-seen dinosaur that has never walked the earth, and they created the Indominus Rex. However, the Indominus Rex was a little too intelligent. It was a genetically modified hybrid that had contained the genes of various different dinosaurs, various different predators, and other animals, and because of that, it became a rather aggressive yet intelligent dinosaur that managed to break out of its enclosure and starts rampaging. Around the same time, there's this guy named Owen Grady, played by Chris Pratt, who's training raptors into following commands because his boss, Bob Hoskins, who's played by Kingpin, basically wants them to use as military weapons. But let's be honest, trying to use dinosaurs as military weapons is as good of an idea as sticking your hand into a hot stove. Meanwhile, park manager Claire was so busy with her job that she's basically neglecting her nephews that are visiting the park, but eventually she decides to have a change of heart and wants to spend more time with her nephews. Unfortunately, her nephews decide to sneak off and mess around in the park and eventually go to a restricted zone where the Indominus Rex had broken into. So Claire gets the help of Owen Grady to retrieve her nephews, and that's the basic premise of Jurassic World. The plot is rather simple, but oh boy does it bring destruction. The Indominus Rex is just such a unique villain because it's a dinosaur that's also a hybrid between many dinosaurs, and there's a bit of commentary in there about messing with genetics and creating stuff that mankind should not be creating, like man-made horrors, hybrids that we can't possibly predict their behavior. Jurassic World continues the theme of Jurassic Park of our scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think whether or not they should. There's a reason why people are saying Jurassic World is the first good Jurassic Park movie since the first movie, and that's because unlike The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World tells a more cohesive and much deeper story than a lot of people would presume. It keeps the spirit, the message, and the theme that first movie gave, and that is, even if you are able to control the chaos, even if you are able to predict, there are still some things that you shouldn't do because they're totally unpredictable and could lead to a lot of chaos. And the Indominus Rex is a perfect representation of that. Jurassic World was able to bring back the Jurassic Park franchise. It was able to revitalize it, take it in a brand new direction, reignite interest in dinosaurs, and in general, bring back a franchise that was a bit in limbo for years, and made 12-year-old me again. There's just so much nostalgia and so much emotional attachment to this period of time, and looking back now, it really was a good time. So, that's it guys, that's the video. Happy 10 years of Jurassic World.